What's up? This is Rebel Radio.
What up? What up? This is DJ Newmark.
This is Peanut Butter Wolf.
It's your boy. It's okay.
Keep checking out Rebel Radio.
Rebel Radio.
This is Rebel Radio.
We're in the place right here. Rebel Radio is going down.
Would you say Rebel Radio?
Oh, wait. Let's do it again.
Rebel Radio.
What's up? What's up? Welcome back to Rebel Radio. Hope you had a great Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrated. I know I did. My guest today is Darlene Ortiz, possibly the first lady of gangster rap. She was with Ice-T as his wife, his partner, his cover model on his first couple albums at the beginning of his career. She's coming to talk to us about what all that was like. She has a book out called Definition of Down. It's a fantastic book if you're into hip-hop love stories. Maybe she's pioneered a new genre. The book is out right now on Over the Edge Books. Go to overtheedgebooks.com. You can get a copy. It's definitely a great read if you're into this kind of material. She really tells a story not only of her life with Ice-T and what all that was like, but you know, that really coincided with, in many ways, the birth of hip-hop and the growth of that genre from what a lot of people thought was a fad into what it's become today. And she kind of takes us through some of those great old school stories. We're going to talk about all of that. You can also get other episodes of the Rebel Radio Show on SoundCloud, Rebel_Radio, or find us on iTunes in the podcast section. Look up Rebel Radio. Before we get into our interview, man, I got to tell you about this great Christmas gift that I bought for myself. Is the BDP Criminal Minded box set. It's the Criminal Minded album on 45s in a cool little box. If you're not familiar with that record, it was the first Boogie Down Productions album and definitely one of the most important classic hip-hop records of that era. And it came with a jigsaw puzzle of the album cover. So while I'm listening to my B-Boy classics, I'll be sitting on the floor building a puzzle. It's amazing. I got it at getondown.com. They're not a sponsor of the show, but I think they should be. If you work for getondown.com, hit us up and let's figure out how to get you involved as a sponsor. Meanwhile, let's get into the interview with Darlene Ortiz. Well, I want to talk about the book, but first I want to thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Darlene.
Thank you for having me. It's still funny to hear you, I know.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Mm-hmm. Awesome to see you, and it's been, I don't know how long since we've seen each other.
Way too long, dude. I'm like in this area all the time.
Yeah. But we go back. Well, I'll tell it. I was at your house. First, I was there a couple times. I was there 3 times. Mm-hmm. Once to interview Ice. I don't remember when or why. But
why? What you were doing? Okay.
Was
it around the cop killer controversy or whatever?
Maybe it could have been. And then when I was managing Dub C, we came and recorded a song there at the studio with the Sharks.
Love Dub C.
Yeah, Dub
Sweetheart. Yeah.
Dub was dope. And
in a good way.
I forget what that song was.
Street dudes are like, oh God.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, good people.
That's all right. It's all love on this show, Yeah. We don't have that. And then I was friends with Heidi, and I know you guys are really close.
Yeah.
And
you came up there with her too?
Together. Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
That is my girl, man. That's family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Heidi's dope. And so you guys wrote this book together, Definition of Down.
Yeah, that's right.
With the dope cover.
Mm-hmm. There it is.
Got it there. And for those of us who remember Ryan Pay's Power, those days, you added a dimension to those covers that I think was, you guys were the only ones doing that.
It was pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I felt pretty special.
Yeah.
Because as my dad put it, he was like, really hardcore funk R&B artists were only doing that. Well, okay, well.
Yeah, it was like Ohio Players.
Mm-hmm. You
had
got
women
it.
on the cover.
I think maybe even Cameo might have did.
Yeah,
I don't know, but
yeah.
he was right. And I was like, okay, I never look at it that way. I was like, just supporting my dude. That's all.
Yeah, rappers weren't doing that
No.
at the time.
Mm-mm.
And, for those who may not remember, especially Ryan Pays was such a groundbreaking record,
Mm-hmm.
such an important record. And you gave us something to look at while we were listening to it.
Okay, good. That's
which is dope.
yeah.
So the book is dope.
Thank you. Oh, so you had a chance. Did
I
you
read
read
it. Heidi gave me a copy. I knew it was going to be dope because Heidi.
But did you have any idea of what it was about? Because a lot of people
No.
I'm getting from a lot of people that right away they just think like, oh, she's just going to tell, share this tawdry, tell all and, say all this crazy stuff about him. And I'm like, nah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm actually just going to tell the story. I didn't know it was going to end.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? So I knew
Sure.
a long time ago that I wanted to tell a story. I was
You
like,
did.
you know what? This is incredible life. Like, every time something new and interesting happened to me, I was like, this, I need to tell somebody. And every time I did tell somebody, like, hey, we just came back from, Australia. What? A Mexican in Australia? What the hell? You know what I'm saying? First of all.
Yeah.
Second of all, we were in the offices and we met Neil Young. And what? And, my dad and people like freaking out. And I'm like, you know what? It is very special. It's pretty unique.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for any of this. It just happened.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's dope, and it's definitely.
Glad you enjoyed it.
I was definitely surprised at how. You talk about some really deep, some heavy issues.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff with your family. Your mom in particular. And,
Oh yeah.
And
Rest in peace, Rose. I've forgiven her since then, but yeah, it was a long road coming, but yeah.
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 So at what point did you know I got to write this book?
I didn't. The book probably a couple of years after he left. I knew I wanted to do something. I don't know if it was going to be in a form of like a journal that maybe somebody would find and my kid would go, oh, this is interesting, and put it out. And then I just said, you know what, I really do. So many more people were telling me over the years after he left, like, wow, you got a story. And I don't know if you caught that part where that guy says that to me, where I came up with the name.
No.
The gentleman.
Oh yeah.
It was so true. But
Who was the guy?
some gentleman that I would love to actually find, because it's where we met, how we met. Anyway, he literally walked up to me. I already knew, because more people were saying, dude, your story is incredible. You got to put this out. Like, it's got to be. And I said, I want to. I eventually want to write a book, especially, like I said, I didn't know it was going to come to an end like that. And I said, you know what? I'd like to share our whole relationship. And, prior to meeting him, it was pretty interesting, I think my life was. And I can, I'll make it all happen, like just one big story. But running into that guy, it was interesting because I was already writing it. It had been a year. But what I was doing was, it wasn't like official to me. It was in my mind. I was like, you know what? I'm going to start jotting down like all these different memories, I'm saying, that took place, not necessarily in a timeline. And then I remember I wanted to write a book, and I asked Heidi. Of course, I wouldn't want anybody else. She wrote my ex's first book, and she's just incredible anyway, let alone my friend. And I said, I want to write a book, but she was busy producing and over at, Fox or whatever, wherever she was at the time. And I said, well, she can't do it right now, but I'm going to start my own, you know what I'm saying? Like, just writing everything down. It's everywhere, but maybe when she's ready or somebody else comes and helps me out, I can do it.
Yeah.
So I pretty much had like everything already jotted down. It was just like all over the place though. And then finally it was just meant, I knew it was meant to be. It was the year that my kid was getting ready to move out. My dog was about to die. She was sick. I'd had her for 11 years, and I'd been by myself with my kid gone for 2 years. So I thought, you know what? This is the time. I totally don't have any other responsibility. So I felt it, and I said, you know what? I'm going to see what she's up to. And little did I know, she was pulling out from like everything she was doing. And she said, something's telling me that I need to be doing all these other things that I've always wanted to do. And I said, well, I'm one of them. You know what I'm saying? Come on, girl. And she was like, you're right. And we dove in, and literally, like, both of us didn't even know, we didn't have anything else to do. I'm working, on a daily job, but I was like, I'm gonna do whatever I can to get this book done. And I mean, Josh, literally, paying her by food. Like, okay, if I go over there, I'm going to be busy working. I got to make the family some dinner. Let me go get it. I'll be right back. Let me go grab grub and then come back. And we would just write. And I literally was like removing more and more hours from my daily grind to get it done. And literally went broke doing it. But I would do it all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how's it feel?
Wonderful. Wonderful. It was so therapeutic, especially the childhood stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Feels great.
I bet. And the, the reception, at least from what I've seen online, like people are digging it.
Wonderful. Oh, I'm so proud. I'm so excited.
Well, I think, the book combines something, combines just a real honesty, a very raw, like, vulnerability with, great hip hop stories.
Oh, good.
You know, and great, and for those of us that live this culture and love it, right? Like it's, it brings back all kind of memories and, stories about people that we grew up to. Yeah.
And some that people aren't aware of. A lot of people never knew that there was actually another guy, Scott LaRock, and, things like that, stories like that. They're like, who? And I'm like, oh my God, you poor soul. You know what I'm saying? Like, but then again, I mean, it's not their fault. They weren't born in that era. But I find that lately more and more of this generation are reaching back because that's like the real deep, roots. And that's really nice to see.
Yeah, that seems to be the time right now. I mean, with Straight Outta Compton and, you saw it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what? It blew up so big. And I was like, all right. I'm feeling that. I go, hey, I've got something that happened prior to that.
For sure.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, it's interesting. You talk about that a little bit in the book where, you guys get together and, Ice is really just starting out, right? He's, I think he might have had, one little indie thing out.
Yeah, Cold Wind Madness or something like that. Yeah.
But and then you guys moved to New York.
Well, to do the movie, but we didn't move to New York. But when he went to go get the deal?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, he was so frustrated here. He had already been trying and struggling for a little while. It wasn't that long, but it was enough to get him so frustrated. And he said, come on, they're not going to give a West Coast guy, a break. I've got to go out there. We saved up whatever we could at the time. I was the only one working, and he just said, "I'm not gonna come back until I get a deal. I'm gonna make this happen." And I had all faith in the world, And like I said, no matter what really would have happened, even if he didn't, that was my guy. And I was just like, "Dude, I'm behind you with whatever you choose to do, even if this doesn't work out." But I did have faith. I mean, that guy was hella determined, man. And I was like, "Something's gonna happen."
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did, after he got the deal, we moved to New York for probably about a month, maybe.
That was for Colors?
No, that was just for the initial, you mean for New Jack City?
Oh, New Jack City.
New Jack City, this was a couple years later, we actually moved out there for 4 months.
Okay.
But the initial one, my very first trip to New York, we didn't have anything. He had just signed the deal, but of course they don't just hand you money.
Yeah, of course.
And but he said, "I got it, I did it. Okay, I'm gonna come back get you." And I'm like, "Oh my God, we still don't have any money."
Yeah.
So I'm literally working like downtown. As a matter of fact, the building my son lives in, I had a job there.
Oh wow.
Like it was offices. So now they're like, can change these. They're lofts now. But anyway, I was working downtown, and I said, I'm coming back to get you. Get ready. We're coming back to New York. And I'm like, shoot, we don't have any yet. But all right, I literally didn't have a coat.
Right.
Nothing. I was like, Converse, no socks. I'm a Cali girl. So I was like, holy cow, it's freezing out here. But we went out there for a month, and then about a week or so later, after staying at Islam's place in the Bronx, in a tenement, shared bathroom with the entire floor. Here's this girl. I'm like, with a machete hanging on the wall. I mean, because of rats or something like that, or people, because it was just incredible. But the whole thing was, people would go, that's crazy. No, it was enjoyable. Like, it was crazy. But I was like, what am I even doing here? I never even thought I'd get on a freaking plane, let alone all this that was about to happen, because it was just beginning. So. Well,
at that point, you're a teenager, right? So. Yeah. So it's just exciting, I would imagine.
Can you imagine?
You're not scared of nothing at that age.
No. Right. You don't even know what the heck you're really doing. You're just kind of going with the flow and just, it's pretty amazing. I mean, I tell people all the time, and I thought this had to happen no matter what. Like, people go, oh, why did you decide to put a book out now? I was like, man, I've been working on it for like 2 years. So it just happened to come out now. But it's been a struggle. But yeah, man, I always knew I wanted to write a book. But the last, like I said, 2 years is Heidi and I were really, really on the grind to get it done. Yeah.
So thinking back to that time, you know, and in the book you talk about, I mean, you guys were flat broke, right? You know, living in a converted garage, and you know, it definitely painted a different picture of Ice-T for me because, you know, I mean, of course, I know he wasn't always rich and famous,
Right.
but still, that's how you think of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
And I met Ice actually when I first moved to LA. I was 18, and I used to go to the Bally's
in Hollywood.
on Gower.
Okay, so it
right
must have
here.
just opened. It was brand new.
Yeah, and I would go there before school. I was going to college, and I
That's
would go there
great.
at like 6 in the morning, and Ice would be there with Shawnee Sean and, you know, his little crew.
Yep.
And it was amazing. First of all, you know, I was a fan, you know, because I...
Oh, you must have really been into hip hop because it wasn't like
Oh,
it
yeah.
wasn't like commercial. Then
No.
it was like really heavy duty. Like you had to
Yeah.
be deep in it.
But I was a hip hop kid, and so I walk in there, and he's like one of my idols there, and so I'm like, do I say something, you know, whatever. And I walked up and said something. He's like, "Oh, what's up, man?" And gave me like a hug, and was just like. And from that day, every time I went in there, he would say, "What's up" to me, and he'd be like between sets. This is probably, James is a workout guy. This is probably not a great. This is not a great workout regimen, but like in between sets, he would tell stories. Tell his guy, he'd just have a bunch of guys sitting
keep
around.
them entertained. Yeah, they're all.
And they worked out slowly. You know what I mean? It wasn't really high intensity, but
Right.
But he'd just be standing around, you know, with his dudes, talking shit, and treating me like I was welcome.
Just part of the crew. Yeah.
And I was,
Real
and
nice
for
guy.
an 18-year-old kid,
Wasn't
that
that
just
amazing?
blew my mind.
Right.
And
Now, would you ever show up with friends or just kept? it to
no,
yourself?
it was too early.
Oh, okay.
But you know, and now, you know, years later, I mean, I've met a lot of entertainers, and to this day, very few people that are that open
That cool.
and welcoming and
Yeah.
just cool. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
was
I gotta give it up. I mean, the guy is super cool. Like I tell people all the time, I'm like, no, he's ultra nice guy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what, you know, I was gravitated to. You know,
Sure.
first it was the aesthetics of it all. I was like, oh God, this guy is so super duper cool. Look what he's got on. This guy is amazing.
Right.
So, and then to hear him, he was just so charming.
Yeah.
Yeah, very friendly guy. Very
Yeah. And so you can see that, and you can see that magnetism that will make somebody a star.
right? I saw something coming. I was like, something's gonna happen.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So at what point did you feel like it's happened, like we're here?
I think even on the plane ride to New York, you know what I'm saying? Like waiting at LAX, I remember sitting there going, holy cow, we are actually going to New York City.
Right.
It started kicking in then, but it really kicked in when he got that first check from Warner Brothers, which I still have the stub.
Is that right?
Like people go, I'm a hoarder. No, not of unnecessary things, like of memories. Like I have, you know, that doesn't take a lot of space, but yeah, like I kept everything. Like first, paid rent for a year. You know, we were like, oh, this is awesome. We're gonna pay it off for a whole year, man. Not worry about it.
Yeah.
And like I kept all these things, leases,
Yeah.
bank books when I met him. But anyway, it really kicked in when he received that first initial check from Warner Brothers. Wow. And then we instantly that day. Like the moment he opened an account, deposited in New York, and that's funny because he's had the exact same, because it was the bank that everybody, like entertainers, used, City National.
Okay.
So everybody was like, oh,
Yeah.
everybody goes there. You
Yeah, they're
need
like the
this.
entertainment. bank.
Of course, George, his manager, was like, you know, you got to do this, got to do that.
Yep.
And he was, he stayed on top of everything, you know. He got great lawyers right away, which he still had, you know, the same ones for like 30, 20 some years. So anyway, I think that's when it really set in, where we got that money and we went to a nice place. You know, we went from the Bronx for a week, and then we went to, you know, the friggin' Marriott, where they used to hold the new music seminars.
Okay.
And we stayed on the top of there,
Funny.
which I went back this last week, and I was like, whoa, it changed so much inside. But
Yeah.
the memories, man. I was like, whoa. I was just looking at the escalators because that's all I can remember. Certain things when we were at the New Music Seminar, like all these people passing each other. I mean, you couldn't even do that nowadays. People have bodyguards and people act up. There was a couple of fights, don't get me wrong, but
Of course.
you know, you've heard of them. There was one that was just on the movies, but but it was just it was incredible. I think that's when it kicked in, is when we actually had like a fancy, you know, our first fancy hotel suite. Now, mind you, he had a hustling career before all that, so that's why when you said you met him at Bally's, and you kind of like your perspective kind of like, you know, when you hear the stories about how we were broke, but even prior to that,
Right.
he had,
Sure.
you know what I'm saying, like this hustler, baller kind of lifestyle, but he gave it up in order to go legit. So when I met him, he was like broke. People go, oh my God, he was a struggling guy. No, he had a gang of years where he
right.
was like balling out of control, but with his boys, and it was
Yeah.
not legitimate.
Sure.
So yeah. So when I met him,
But that's interesting too, because, you know, I think the perception when you think of, you know, rappers that come out of street life, it's kind of like the story is it just kind of never stops, right? It's like I'm balling over here and I'm making my music, and then my music blows up, and then I stop doing that, or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I think, you know, something I took from the book was, I mean, I left the book with probably a greater respect for Ice-T than I had even before, just because of that, right? To say, well, I'm going to walk away from this
right.
that's paying me, even though, you know, there's some downsides to it. It's paying me, right?
Sure.
And at a young age, you're not necessarily expected to make those kind of responsible choices.
You're right. He had the smarts. I'm telling you, that dude right there was just incredible. Yeah, you're right. It took a lot for him to say, hey. And you know what? Even his boys, whereas maybe, I don't know, I see a lot of that happen where they won't support that. Like,
Right.
come on, dude.
Oh,
really?
yeah,
You're
for
gonna-"
sure.
And they stood by him. I mean, it was really deep. It was pretty heavy to witness. Like, look, you're right. These street dudes. And I can see why a lot of these guys get involved with certain things like gangs where they actually stand by each other. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Not the killing and the rough and the violent part stuff of it, but the actual camaraderie type part. But those guys really backed him up. I mean, when he made that decision, it was, you know, they helped us survive for a good, you know, almost 2 years. Even though I was working, it still wasn't enough to like sustain living for 2 adults and a dog.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? And Islam even lived with us too. So can you imagine that?
Right.
In a studio, dude, this studio right here is way bigger than our first 2 apartments. 2.
That's
we lived
crazy.
in studios, I know. But to have that experience, I think, man, it just keeps you appreciative of everything. I'm always appreciative of every single little anything, you know?
Yeah.
That was
Well,
rough.
so the other thing that stands out to me about him is you, right? Is that, I mean, you were part of the band,
I
right?
feel like that, yeah.
I mean, and you know the way you tell it, you know, here I think is a little modest. Like I've seen other stuff where he's talked about how, you know, important you were, right? To
well, but people don't know now because all that was
yeah,
back
of course,
then.
sure.
Which, by the way, I've saved all those, like I told you before. So I'm going to start releasing some of that stuff out. I thought,
Nice.
well, it'd be nice for people to get it. See,
Right.
because you were around that era.
Yeah,
And you saw it. And not a lot of people get that. And they're like, I feel like lately, I don't know what the problem is, but that he's just like totally cut that out of his history. I don't know why, but
well, so you know, I think it's interesting because usually what we see is either 2 celebrities, you know, together, married or whatever, or, you know, you never hear about the wife, right? She's
Yeah.
kind of in the background. You know, I think,
First Wives Club.
yeah,
That's what we call it.
especially I think with rappers, it's like, you know, maybe she's from the neighborhood or she was down before they were famous or whatever. And, you know, there's maybe the guy feels like he can trust her because
Sure,
of that, right?
Sure. Which he's spoken about before.
Sure.
Many times, yeah, about why we were together. So still,
So what do you think he understood that the rest of these guys didn't?
he's a different cat. I don't know. It might have had to do with his family life. I mean, a lot of those guys have family around them still. He didn't. He was kind of like on a solo mission. You know what I'm saying? He was abandoned by his family and his loved ones, until he became famous. And then he heard from like, distant relatives or whatever. But both of his parents at the time I met him had died already.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so where his father was killed, but his mom died. And so I think he just one of those unique individuals, you know what I'm saying, that really got it. Like, I need somebody by me, you know what I'm saying? This is my family.
Yeah.
And so he just really got it. And he's such a romantic guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, he wants his woman, and I see he still does it, which is a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. He wants them with him, like, involved in everything. Mm-hmm. I think that's so super special. I don't know what he actually, went through his head and why he felt like the need to do that, but he's a pretty unique individual, and he got that, what? I've got somebody that is with me, and I'm just going to take them on this ride with me, and they've got my back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of, he had great friends. It was just that one missing link where it was like, and he did it even prior to me. I mean, when I met him, he had a girlfriend that they'd already broken up, but he didn't. I knew this guy was a good dude. I was like, when he honestly told me the very first day of meeting him, look, I got this girl that's staying with me. It's my ex-girlfriend. We're not involved anymore like that, but I don't want to throw her out in the streets. She's got to get herself together before. And I was like, oh my God. Whereas other people go, oh, hell no. You know what I'm saying? Like, this guy's got his girl at the house. Yeah. No, I felt it was, and it was genuine. I found out, you know what I'm saying? By staying with him and dating him those first few months, I thought, this guy is the real deal. This is very rare. Mm-hmm. So I was, I'm not going to let this go. People go, oh my God, he told you he had a girl living in his house, didn't have a car, didn't have a phone, wasn't working, said he was going to, come on now. And I was like, that's how intriguing he was. I didn't care. I was like, yeah, right. I feel that this guy has a special, heart. He's different. Mm-hmm. And he was. He still is. Matter of fact, if you think about it, maybe 90% of the artists, not just rap, artists, actors, you name it, you don't even know that some of them have relationships.
That's
only
right.
because of social media now.
Sure.
But a lot of those guys, they don't even speak on it because they think that that's going to help their career, which in his part, he said, I'm just going to be real about it and hopefully that people respect it. And they did. Mm-hmm. They felt, wow, this guy is super duper cool. Like he doesn't feel like having his woman around is going to hinder, his career. So he's pretty damn unique. It's my kid's dad still, so.
No, but I think that, that partnership, was really valuable, and it definitely set you guys apart and set him apart as an entertainer. Mm-hmm. And you're right. Yeah. Most people don't talk about it, or they hide it, or it's just not a thing.
No, but more people should make it a thing. I think it's, especially nowadays, come on, man. I think that's needed for people to see that there's humans out there like that.
Yeah.
Men. But.
Well, talk about that a little bit. I mean, you get into the book, essentially, the relationship sort of ended over infidelity.
Mm-hmm. Well,
that's maybe oversimplifying it.
Well, no, that's a big part of it. It started it, but I wasn't going to end it at all. Mm-hmm. That hurts, mm-hmm. and that it puts a big, huge dent in your relationship. But I was willing to work through all that. I mean, he was hardly around, so it was like, dude, because we had a child at the time. He was 10, and I was like, or at least when it started, he was a little younger, like maybe 7 or 8 when I started sensing a lot of that stuff. But I'm like, what am I going to do now? You know what I'm saying? Like, we got a family. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. It'd be different if he treated me bad at home, and he doesn't. Right. These things were happening, but I was like, I'm going to end this because I feel that he's out there doing this stuff. He wasn't doing it disrespectfully to me. Mm-hmm. It was little stuff that I would sense, that whole gut feeling thing. But when you have a family, I was like, though, this is deeper than that. Like, I'd ask him, and of course, he would never admit it. Right. And I thought, you know what? Stuff, I was going to curse. Stuff is...
You can curse.
Oh, really?
Yes,
sweet.
Go for it.
I'm sweet. Anyway, no, I was going to say shit. I would say, shit is like happening at home. Like, he can come home and I might have that little feeling like, oh, I think this fool was, whatever last night. But he's freaking amazing at home. Great provider for the family, great father. Mm-hmm. Why would I want to end something like that? So you try to work something out. I mean, I tried. And even for that last really tough year, but then, it got deeper than that. Mm-hmm. It was to a point where it was like, oof, now we can't even hide this. But even then, I was like, dude, okay, if you're gonna leave us and you want that life, then let me know. But other than that, like, let's work something out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's heavier than this. It's not about us any longer. We've got a child, so we have to make some things work out. And I guess he just couldn't. So he had to go and live that lifestyle he wanted to live in New York, because he was already gone. He had been doing SUV for SVU. Go SUV. He's driving a truck. But no, so he was already in New York doing Law and Order. So I was like, I just felt bad for the kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what's most important. And so that's what really broke my heart. I mean, other than that, I think my heart was broken years before that. And then I just tried to hang in there for the kid, but it didn't happen. Yeah.
So here's what I wonder. Because, relationships are hard. I have one. I'm not famous, and it's still hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think they're infinitely harder under public scrutiny.
Hell yes.
And like you said, with social media and with I'm sure women throwing themselves at them, right? And it's like we all have our opportunities, but that's different. Right.
Yeah.
And so, but yet, women seem to forget that when they meet a famous dude. And
I know.
They think they can make it work.
They could possibly can, but you're right. They still have to have that in the back of their minds and their hearts that this is not your average situation.
Yeah.
So be prepared. It can go any which way. And like I said, he was already a very unique individual for a lot of things that he was into. So most likely they're not going to have that kind of take from the guy that they're involved with, one. And two, you got to just step back and look and say, yeah, man, this is not, like I said, not your 9-to-5er. You know what I'm saying? This guy's going to be gone all the time. You're not going to have control. You really got to be down with this dude and in love to even deal with some of that stuff that you're going to encounter, which is, like I said, the shared attention. So when you know that, you can. You can, the odds are going to be greater for it working out. But if you don't have that in the back of your head, no matter how attractive you are to the guy or whatever love you're feeling, just let him go. It's not going to happen. Because it's going to change you. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have such a hard time dealing with it. I was fortunate enough that I met him prior to money and the time away and all that. So that was a huge help, because I can't say that, I would have still been the same girl and had his back. I really don't. Matter of fact, he even used to say that, when he was still with me, and he would give these interviews and he'd tell them, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how I'm going to, I wouldn't be able to do it without having my girl prior to like all this happening. Like, I don't know how these guys meet people, and then all of a sudden, how you trust?
Right.
How do you really know that person? It's going to take a really long time. So, I don't know how he made this other transition in this relationship happen, because he used to admit and say, I found one. I'm going to stay with my girl. This is my girl prior to me making money or being famous. So, I don't know. Even he used to admit that it was hard. So I don't know, man. I mean, look, I'm still single. Like, you're right. This shit is hard. I was like, right away when I feel something that's not happening, and I'm not even in that degree of celebrity that he is at all. And I still get it, where I'm dating guys because I'm not into the power thing or the money thing and the fame thing. So I date whomever has, the flavor that I'm into, and has the hoots to come up to me and say, hey, I want to take you out. Well, let's roll. Okay. Most of the time, I'm serious. Fireman, UPS man, you name it. City worker. One of my longest, deepest relationships with a city worker. You know what I'm saying? Street paver, what have you. And it didn't work out, because it would always come up. Like, they think as a male, it's hard for them to believe that she went from this guy and now she's with me. They would always have such a hard time. They never let it stuck around to actually really see that I was sincere and, was into him. Didn't matter what he had or didn't have. So, but they never really stuck in there. And then the so-called NBA players or NFLers and people with money and power too. They had a trip because they felt like, oh shoot, I want to be the special one. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I've encountered anyway.
Is that right?
Yeah. And so far, it just hasn't worked out, and it's been so long that now.
So what's it gonna take?
I have no idea because I haven't had it happen. It's been what, almost 15 years now? Oh
wow.
I know. Oof. But and it's been so long. I hate to say it, that I'm kind of okay now, like comfortable with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I keep myself busy, I have family and friends. And plus, look, who gets to have a relationship like this ever in their life? People are gunning for that. And I did it. I had it. So, I'm not impatient. Most of these women that have never had it, they're like, I've never had this true, deep, meaningful love and relationship. And I was like, man, I did it. So if it shall never happen again, I think I'm okay with it.
Right.
And that's why I'm very patient and hoping that I can get that chance again. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'm still single. No.
All right. Well, hit us up on Twitter. If you want to holler at Darlene, you better have your game tight, though.
Not necessarily.
No?
No.
Okay.
Just be confident, man, and be headstrong. Yeah,
All
but
right.
your game is nah. I'm all right. And plus,
Okay.
I love farmers. I grew up in.
Is that right?
Yeah, I love farmers. I love country guys because I grew up
So does
in
my
what's
wife.
considered it. Yeah.
She didn't get that.
Are you serious?
I'm city boy.
Josh. No, but I like a city guy as well. But I'm just saying, like, in other words, that's where I can go. I can go the full thing. Like, look,
Right.
if some stuff happens and you're a city guy, I don't know how city you are, but let some shit happen. Let us be riding around in a car and it break down. I'm jumping
Yeah.
out. I'm popping that hood up.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
getting in there. I'm getting under. I'm getting in there. I can change brakes. I can change oil.
Yeah.
I grew up like that. I was a tomboy, motorcycle, shooting guns, all that. So I can go the full thing. Country to city, you name it. Broke, rich, doesn't matter. I can deal with it.
Okay. I like it.
Well, I wish more would, but anyway.
What I don't know. That's hard to imagine. I think you're right though. There's a certain maybe intimidation. You know.
Thanks, Ice. Not really,
Man,
but yeah.
man got to get their confidence up.
Yeah. But I try to make them feel as comfortable as possible. And
Does it
like,
feel like? I mean, maybe this is not a fair question, but
it's all right.
does it feel like just men in general are not as confident as they used to be?
I just think period, not as they used to be. I think period. And like I said too, he was such a unique individual that he made it hard. You know, people, I always get this from people. Oh, get over him. It's not him.
Yeah.
It's things that I learned to be attracted to and I liked. There's a majority of everything that I really dug about him stayed with me. I really like that in a guy, in a man. So, I mean, he's not your frou-frou type of guy that, like I said, if some shit broke down,
Right.
we used to call it Marrow Ingenuity, which is his last name.
Uh-huh.
And I got this, and he was so, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I'm attracted to stuff like that. So, but it's still very simple though. Like I said, just be you and just be open to other things. Oh, big family guy. Got to be a big, or at least let me go with my family. I'd love to have a guy involved because he really wasn't that when I was with him, and I got it because he was uncomfortable around. My
Sure.
family's like heavy duty.
Is that
like,
right?
You're talking about like, oh my God, you'd show up and it's like, wait, what? Is this I didn't know that was a club or a party. It's like, no, it's just so-and-so's anniversary or birthday. My family goes all out and I love it, but I wish I had somebody to experience that with me because I just love my family, my dad's family. But anyway, so yeah, I'll help you with that confidence if you don't have it.
All right.
Put it like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, if you're being the girl that was starting out now the way you were, what advice would you have?
Jesus, well nowadays it's really changed. It's totally different. I could give entirely different advice back when we started. Now, like I said, God. I mean, I could always say, build up your confidence all you can, but it's just tough now because like I said, you've got social media and it's just like awful. You have to really you have to have thick skin. And, deal with some other deeper things in life. Maybe go and volunteer for some heavier stuff like, hospice like I do. Things that keep you really grounded and things that really matter in life. And you won't be bothered by crap that people say? Really? Like I said, I go, oh my God, when I was growing up, I really did that old saying, like 6 sticks and stones. Where did that go? You know what I'm saying? May break your bones, words will never hurt me. They don't. But
we're
nowadays,
in the opposite of that.
Thank you. Oh my God, people are so super duper sensitive. They say, I'm like, really? What somebody says? And then it's always somebody hidden, like a little egg. It's not their face. It's not their background. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you don't even know what this person, who cares? I don't get it. I really don't. Like, but I think just don't get into something. Be fair to you and the other person, and don't get into a relationship if you have any kind of notion that you're not uncomfortable with. Like, I can't deal with this. Don't do it. Don't do it to them. Don't do it to you. And move on. There's so many other people out there. I hate when people go, oh, it's my soulmate. I was like, no, dude, there's just like when you find and you meet a bunch of friends and really nice people, it's the same thing. Go out there and just, discover other people, but don't get involved with somebody and say, oh, I'm going to, make this work. And plus, half the time, a lot of those guys that have power and money and things like that, I hate to say it, but I don't think the girls, I think they need to really see who they're getting involved with and be like, you know what, damn, this person isn't with me for, she really cares about me. It's a money thing. I can't even imagine. I don't know. I can't even give advice to anyone because it's like bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, really, lady? No, seriously. I know that I would feel it right away and say, okay, I can't deal with this. As much as I dig this dude, I can't deal with it. So all I can say is, the moment you really feel like, okay, I love this guy, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make it work out. Do it. You know what I'm saying? Of course, try to hold on to your integrity, dignity. Don't do anything like that. But just make sure. And just like the moment that you have that feeling that I can't hang, go. Don't waste your time. It's short. You know what I'm saying? Like, 15 years now single? I think maybe 12 years ago I might have figured it all out. You know what I'm saying? Like, but thank God. I have good friends around me and family and stuff like that, but it's not easy. I mean, there really is no, winning formula to it. Just don't waste your time. You know what I'm saying? The moment that you feel that you can't hang, then I don't know, you can't do it, especially in Hollywood. Yeah. In that kind of industry. Good luck. Or sports. Shit, I don't know. Give it a go, but I don't, I used to say I don't want to deal with anybody who's famous or has money or anything like that anymore. I was like, hell no. But that's not right. That's not fair. So I do. I try to give everybody a go. But I don't know. I can't really give, like, any specific advice just because it's so tough nowadays. Hell, I don't even know. I haven't been involved with anybody nowadays, and so I don't even I know what we're dealing with.
Are you on any of the online dating
No.
stuff?
No. I don't.
No Tinder?
I don't believe in any of that at all.
No.
I'm like, look, just old school. If I'm at a freaking, store, you know what I'm saying, a Home Depot or
Walk
something.
up.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. I'm so attracted to guys that just like, even in a parking lot, excuse me, I want to tell you something. I'm like, oh my God, I like this guy already. So it's that easy with some girls. Like, just come up. Because a lot of times guys will look over and they kind of just smile and throw you something. And it's like, oh, he didn't come over. Like, really,
Right.
dude?
You're not going to say anything?
Yeah, I think they're afraid to get shot down. Who cares? What do you got to lose?
I remember in high school, I walked up to this girl in the library where you're not supposed to talk,
Ooh.
And
Stop.
and I forget what I said to her, but she was like, "Did you just walk up to me and start talking to me?" And I said, "Yeah. What's the problem with that?" And she said, "Well," she told me, "only black guys do that to me."
I love it.
It's funny.
I love it. Stop. And
Yeah.
you're like, well, not
I
right.
was like, okay. I don't know.
Well, I'm breaking those barriers,
I
girl.
guess.
Good for you, Josh.
San
See?
Francisco, we have diversity up there. You know.
Yeah. In LA, it kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they had it too, but not as big.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But not where I was from though. In Corona, oh my God. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. No, I was the first one to date outside my race for years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Only because my dad was very cool with everything. I saw him dating. Well, not dating because he never brought a woman around me, but I saw him like hanging out. You know what I'm saying, with women of other colors. So yeah, that was very cool.
That's funny.
Yeah. gave me the okay that it was like, it's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you want people to take away from the book?
Wow, there's so much. Be cool with your ex, you know what I'm saying? Like, when stuff comes to an end, like I said, don't all of a sudden start bad-mouthing the other person just because something didn't work out. It's huge. I see that, too, lately, because now you can throw something out there on, Twitter or what have you, and it's so sad. And then they have children.
Yeah.
But just stuff comes in, it's not the end of the world, man. Like, okay, what, wish you well, wish it hadn't, wish it would have went this way and all that, but it didn't. So let me mosey on and, wish you well. Because really, if you cared about somebody, you want the best for them, period, whether they're with you or not. It's supposed to be that way. So just take that, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what I did. I was like, nah, that's it's my kid's dad on top of it. But I think even if we didn't have a child, that, of course, I wouldn't have gotten ugly. So just be respectful towards another human being. Not, oh, this guy broke my heart. Whatever, okay,
So you, you've been through so much and you seem so just level-headed about it. So is that all? Do you have moments where you got to catch yourself? Or I know we were talking earlier about, meditation. You said you use music to kind of keep you calm or centered, right? Is that is there something you do when you need to like remind yourself, or are you just like cool like this at all times?
I try to be.
Okay.
I would like to think that I keep pretty level-headed and stay pretty chill.
You never
most
fly
of
off
the
the
time.
handle.
No. And if I do, boy, you've really done something wrong.
Okay.
Because I really will step up if I have to. But
Is that right?
Yeah. But you know what? I've just been around through a lot of heavy, deep stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For a long time, since I was a child. And like I mentioned earlier, that I volunteer for hospice, and that's as deep as you can get. Other than birth, other than people being born, when people die, that's like that puts a lot in perspective. And so it just allows me to get that to put everything in perspective. Like I said, other things that happen, like, when people go through certain things, they're like, oh, it's so devastating. I wrecked the car, or I, this and that is going wrong for me. Really, it's not that serious, especially when you're around that and you see people passing away either too soon, It's just so I've been through that stuff where it kind of like just grabs me, and I can't allow myself to trip off some minor stuff, really. And most of the stuff is really minor, other than dying and having bad health or whatever. It's like everything else is just it's not meaningful to me. So like I said, I think nowadays people need to really get a grip on what really matters in life. Children, you know what I'm saying, the well-being of children, and then not all this materialistic. I've noticed too that's been like a huge thing, like lately, where people are like all about, the women are all about, like my Louis Vuittons and my purse and my this and that and how we look, and it's like, wow, you are never going to survive. God forbid something, happens to you health-wise or money-wise or whatever. And I don't know, I think people really need to get a better grip on what's really important in life. And that's basically life. You know what I'm saying? Like, so chill. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So you talk about that in the book, and in some ways it's a contrast to what we think of as the rap lifestyle. And you mentioned your trips to the 99-cent store. Yeah. And right, that you're
which
not,
I still love and do.
Is that right?
Yeah, of course.
You talk about not being materialistic. And so how does that, what am I trying to say? Like, how does that play out for you when you're in this and you're surrounded by, this luxury lifestyle and everybody's trying to floss, and
you just stay you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's easier for me. It's harder for them because for some reason I know people like that where they really feel the need that this makes me. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so sad. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you just stay you. So I think a lot of people succumb to that. And I think there's about more than half that are out there walking around and thinking, shit, I'm not even about this, but yet here I am. And I think it's just ultra weak. They think that's super duper special or that's powerful. And like, look at me, I've got more than you. that's so lame. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it was hella easy for me. That's just who I am. And people say, oh, really? Like, I've seen you with this before. Yeah, swear to God. And I always do this. And I say, listen, you can check my pedigree. That's what that's called. Check the history. Ask anybody you like. This is what I'm about. And more people need to be that. And I think there's a lot of people like that. But for some reason, they really feel that they need to follow. And like, you know what, I'm with that too. And then they start high-signing and co-signing over each other. That's such a huge turnoff for me. But if that's what works for you and you feel the need to do that, go ahead. But it's just so phony to me. I don't know. It's just, I'm not about that. I'm not going to hate on somebody. I have friends that are like that. You know what I'm saying? But matter of fact, even when I went to New York, and I think a lot of people need to do that, is just open up and just go, you know what, it feels so refreshing to be honest. I'm not going to lie and be like, oh yeah, even when I went out to New York, I didn't even own like a really warm, nice jacket. And so I had to call my friends. Like, there's this one girl that was like, oh God, I gained so much weight and I bought all these brand new jackets. I can't even wear them. Go ahead. And I was like, sweet, dude. I went in her closet like it was a store. I mean, I was just borrowing the stuff, but I just love that. Like, it feels really good to just not be concerned and worried about, you know, oh my God, I got to get this. And I actually love that. People even go, as a matter of fact, I'm not going to say his name. I was doing an interview in New York and somebody said, oh, and by the way, maybe you shouldn't say that. And let me go, what? What do you mean maybe I shouldn't say that and share that with people? What do you mean? Like, but that's not the truth. Oh, okay. And they really thought that's, they felt
like they were helping you out.
Yeah. Like, oh, maybe you shouldn't let people know. I go, well, what? But that's not the truth. And I go, and that's not me. Like, why would I lie? Oh, okay. And they felt so shitty. But it's like, no, dude, that is what's happening with me. And I think that that's refreshing. It's going to help other people out and other young ladies that feel the need that they need to, okay, well, so-and-so's wearing this and so-and-so, you know, buys this and all that. No, they need more people out there that are like, I'm not about that. And it's okay. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I'm not hating on the next person. If that's what you feel the need to do, go ahead. But I just not that kind of gal, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But it was actually fun, and it's interesting being around all that and then you not being like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, no. And they'll look over me, you know what I'm saying, girl? We should go get, and I go, you know, I'm not, even last night, my friends were like, you went to that place to eat again? Oh, and I'm like, dude, I happen to like that. Right. And they're like, oh, okay, it's got to be or whatever. I was like, oh, God, whatever. Anyway, but I'm sorry. I'm just like really more.
Nah, I get it.
That's just me, man.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, too, that guys need to realize. They're uncomfortable about that. They really think that they need to impress me by, you know, certain things, goods and doing things. And I'm like, nope, you could take me to a concert and we don't have to have good seats. I've got binoculars, you know what I'm saying? Like okay. But anyway, man, it's good. It's good to let people know, because I'm trying to look and find people like that. Like, come on, I know. And I can even look at people's eyes and I go, I know that you're like a cool chick, but dang it, you succumb to the rest of them and you're...
I mean, the pressure's real, right?
It is, but come on now. People talk about being real and being strong. Well, then there it is. There's your moment. And say, you know what? Yeah, that's not me. Come on, I'm waiting for more and more to come out and just say, yeah, that so wasn't me. Yeah. I mean, what'd you do before that? All of a sudden, now that you got money or you got fame, now all of a sudden you're like, I'm Mrs. So-and-so and this is the store. No, you never did that before just because you got the money now. Because when I did... When, you know, Ice and I got all that money and everything, I swear to God, I didn't feel the need to go. Matter of fact, I couldn't even fathom, like, spending money on things like that. I thought, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, just because I have it, people would go, well, you got this now, you should go. But I'm not feeling that. I don't know. Thank God that I've never, you know, like, it just, I didn't feel it. And hopefully I never really will. I don't think so. Kind of late in life then. Thank God.
Well, so I think, you know, in some ways, unfortunately, that's become synonymous with hip hop, right?
Oh, yeah.
Is a certain, you know, not just a certain look, but a certain level of spending or of showing off or whatever, right? And so, and you know, you kind of tell the story that, you know, your relationship in a lot of ways was really synonymous with your relationship to hip hop, right? So I wonder now, how has that changed? You know, how does Is hip hop culture, is that still part of your life? You know,
Yeah.
how's it different?
There's not a lot that I actually gravitate to and that I actually like. I try. I'm not one to just go, oh, I'm such an old school head that I don't even want to check out, so-and-so.
Right.
No, I'll listen.
Yeah.
I mean, look, and then I have a son who's just turned 24.
Sure.
So he exposes me to things that I go, that songs and music and artists that I'm like, huh? Who? And then now, of course, it's flooded, you know what I'm saying, the market. So a lot of times I'm like, it'll be like an independent artist or something like that I've never heard of and that he exposes me to. But
What does he put you up on that you liked?
oh, God. Okay, I can't remember the guy's name, but I really liked him. He played a couple of videos for me. Please forgive me, whoever you are, that I forgot your name. But it's a Jewish guy. It's a dude, white dude, and he's actually making fun of that. What
Lil
you're talking
Dicky.
about. There you go. There you go, Little
love it.
Dicky. I love it.
I love that dude.
See.
Yeah.
So he exposed me to that, and I was like, oh my God, I love that. So. I've been pulling up the videos stuff like that, but I couldn't recall his name. But I like him. Like, see, stuff like that I like. But just being open-minded. I like certain, I think J. Cole, of course, Kendrick Lamar, even like B.O.B.,
Okay.
people like, but it's just harder now because there's just a lot of, guys, rappers that Drake, hello. Love me some Drake.
Okay.
Kanye, so Jay-Z, even though they're not current ones, but
Yeah.
no, but
They
it's
think
just,
they are.
Yeah, there you go. I'd like to think they still are, but
I don't know. It's hard. I mean,
they're considered old school now.
well, yeah, and I think about. I mean, it's hard for me as a fan to picture rappers, not to Jay and Kanye, but like rappers in their 50s,
right?
which
and which is unfair because like rock and rollers get to do it.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem. It just is a hard leap to make.
It is.
You know what I mean?
You're right.
Like it feels like such a youthful thing, and so much of what they're expressing is about youth.
That's true in the
it's about
streets and all that. And it's like, dude, you
Absolutely.
ain't streets anymore. You're raising family or whatever. Yeah, you're right.
Exactly.
That is pretty interesting. Yeah, you're right. But just be, open-minded to hearing some of the stuff, and that's it. But believe me, it's few and far between that I find, interesting to me.
Yeah.
And like even the kid has to admit it. My son will say, "Oh, Mom," he'll apologize. I'll go, "Oh my God, didn't we just listen to this song?" And he goes, "No, it's a different artist." I'm like, "It sounds the same,"
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not as deep anymore. First of all, and second of all, they're not as close to get to know each other. Like they're not the relationships with them in the industry are not like that anymore. Thank God I grew up in like that, you know what I'm saying? And I had that experience for the 80s and the 90s because it was only a couple handfuls. And, people would actually be like, that's so-and-so, let's get together, but now I can't, it's like such a battle. And then there's a lot of hate. Back in the day, it was cool. Like everybody had that same, like I said, a camaraderie where they were like, man, we're all in this together, Let's fight this little, this struggle together because everybody said it was a fad and it was going to fade away.
Yeah.
But nowadays, everybody's in competition, hating, you know what I'm saying, just belittling one another, putting each other down. Who's got more of this? Who's got more? Yes, you're right. That was part of like a little braggadocio type thing that they used to do, but they didn't live by it. You know what I'm saying? Like you'd see one another. It wasn't like now. It's like, they're putting each other down on social media, and I don't know. It's gone. It's kind of too far out of hand now. It's like, and it's just watered down. You know what I'm saying? If anybody said they came from the streets, and you're like, really? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of sad, but you get respect. I mean, there's some that really still give it up. I don't know if you've caught that, but even towards the end, because I put the great photos and collages that are in there that I put a lot of heart and soul into.
Yeah.
That I put them pertaining to the era, to that chapter. And in towards the end, because I just went and met with Kid Ink, who has a tattoo of me on his body.
Is that right?
Yeah, so the picture's in there. It's towards the back.
Oh, that's cool.
And that was so cool, you know what I'm saying? And he was so kind, and that's what I loved, because I was like, oh, there's hope in the world, you know what I'm saying? Because he could have been like, whatever, his lady. No, he was just like so, like just an honor, you know what I'm saying? I was like, oh, this is so cute. And yet here I was excited, like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? All these, people that are of his generation were so excited, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, you're going to go meet Kid Ink? And I was like, yeah, I heard that he's got this tattoo and his girlfriend set this whole thing up and wanted me to come and meet him and take a picture with him or what have you. And it was so damn cute and very genuine where he said, hey, I've been waiting for like 3 years to meet you. And then when he pulled it up, because I had no idea, everybody was just telling me that, this guy who's out now, a rapper that has you tattooed on his body. And I'm like, really? No way. And I was like, the Power Image. Oh, cool. And then when I saw it and he pulled it up, I'm like, wait, you added wings to it. And he said, yeah, you're an angel.
Wow.
Oh, I almost wanted to cry. I was like, that's so freaking sweet.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it's totally different, dude. I don't know. I wish him well. All the best on everything out there with anything, not just rap, but all the music, because I'm an R&B. Actually, I'm an R&B funk junkie.
Is that right?
Yeah.
What moved you? What do you listen to?
I like old school stuff. New artist.
Like what? Give me some. What's the
old school hardcore funk? Like of course, George Clinton, Cameo, Daz Band, stuff like that. Anything hardcore dance, like, I'm saying, like old breaking breaks and stuff like that. R&B.
You still put those on?
Oh, hell yeah. No, that's a must. That's a must.
Nice.
All the time. I mean, that's what keeps me moving, like physically. I need to hear some of that stuff. There's not a lot of things nowadays that I can put on and be like, I want to move. It's all like either electronica, that kind of stuff, which is fine. But like I prefer, the old, like it's got to have a good beat rhythm.
So like, what's a song?
What's a good old school song? Like Aqua Boogie.
Okay.
Stuff like that. He said, of course, my girl Tina Marie, who, if you paid attention in the book, we wrote a song together called Definition of Down, because I had already had the title of my book. So I love Tina and Rick.
Is somebody going to record that?
They already did. She did.
Oh, she did?
She finished it. She actually finished her album. I didn't put that in there. I did put the lyrics to the song. That year, unfortunately, that she passed earlier that year, she said, we I've been telling you for years we need to write a song. And I said, let's do it. And she said, hey, I heard you're writing a book. What's the title? And I said, Definition Down. She goes, that's the title of our song. Let's go. And we got together and we finished it. She recorded it. It wasn't mastered yet, the entire album called Beautiful, which her daughter put it out earlier this year, 2015. She put it out in February. It took 2 years after her mom's passing to put it out, but we finished it. We finished the song almost 3 months before she passed away. I know, pretty heavy, pretty deep, but but of course I listen to Tina, Rick, so and then nowadays, of course, I love me some, like Mary J. and, but Alicia Keys, Faith Evans still, you know what I'm saying? But stuff like that. And then new stuff, new artists like Vivian Green, which, by the way, is produced by like Kwame, who I love too. And that's not hardcore street, but I like a lot of it. It's just songs that get to me. It doesn't have to do with an artist if they're hardcore or whatever. But like I dig him, and like now he's producing. You can imagine that now he's producing, stuff like that, R&B that I love.
So, what's next? What are you trying to do professionally?
Well, I've always wanted to open up my own fitness studio, very small one. I've been doing this classes, instructing personal training for 20 years now, which I love. I would love to do that eventually after, of course, hopefully I can option off this like into some kind of movie to any degree. I don't care. I just know that the story is so special. I would love to see it presented somehow like that. Whether
Who's going to play you?
Who would play me?
Yeah.
God, I don't know. Well, J-Lo's my age, so she can. So, sorry, J, which I love. I love Jennifer Lopez. I don't know. There's so many great Latina actresses out there now. I don't know. I'd be excited for any of them to do something like that and represent me. So I don't know. What's homegirl's name that's on Jane the Virgin?
Oh, I don't know.
Rodriguez? No, not Rodriguez.
I don't know her name, but
Dang it.
I know who you're talking about.
Anyway, I like her. That
Okay.
young lady. She's cool. But I'd like to see that happen eventually. But I definitely would like my own, little fitness studio. I don't need much. But I know that right away, the moment I do get my hands on some kind of extra like cash where I'm just comfortable, that's all I need to do, is that I'm going to take off like at least, my son calls me crazy because he just doesn't want me to go. But I want to travel. I just want to go away. A friend of mine has a farm in Ecuador.
Oh, wow.
Like I'd love to just go over there and help her cultivate that and get that prepared. And also I want to just, I'm going for my death midwife certification. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah. So I already do hospice volunteer, but I'd like to take that and help people that aren't capable at home to take care of their loved ones because I just have that. It's a calling, but I want to share that.
That's huge.
So, yeah. So if I get just enough, I don't need too much, but just enough that I would be comfortable and take the time off to do that. And it'd be totally volunteer. Like I don't even need to make anything from it. It's bigger than that. So yeah, so just, so hopefully I'd be able to help everybody still stay fit and help myself out at the same time. I like to see those
Well, you can't
results.
see Darlene behind this desk, but you are very fit.
Thank you. I'm all right. I'm praying in there. I'm all
You
right.
might be better than I.
Yeah, it's not easy being like hitting that mark, man. Damn near 50. I love it though. I feel good.
That's
I feel better
unbelievable.
than I did when I was 25. It's so funny how when you take care of yourself, you know what I'm saying, you really feel good. But thanks, Josh. You made me almost blush. I'm blushing. So that's it. I mean, like I said, I'm not, looking for, too much, but I would love to see that developed into something like that. And plus, we wrote a couple of treatments for TV shows, and one of them got a development deal from Discovery last year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we're waiting. They're still shopping that, and we'll see. It's called Love Don't Live Here.
Okay.
And hopefully,
That's reality or is
yeah,
what?
it's reality. Not the reality that people think. It's it has to do with getting rid of things that you were left with from your ex-loved one.
Oh,
So,
wow.
Yeah. And so they liked it, and we wrote it, and we shopped it, and Discovery gave us a little deal, and we shot like a treatment and a nice pilot, and so they're still, working with that, so we'll see what happens with that. And that'll
That's
be cool. Yeah, so you know what, but I'm hoping that would be my dream is to get that, especially after seeing the success of, Straight Outta Compton. I was like, oh my God, I got the story that happens before that. So we'll see what happens with that.
That's
but
cool.
That's what I'd like to see happen. But other than that, I'm all right. I'm all right. Just want to keep doing what I'm doing, and I'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you all the success
Thank you.
with this. Like I said, thank you for the book. It was great.
I'm so glad you liked it.
And,
Thank you,
we're
Dan.
gonna-
Excellent.
My last question, though, I know you've been all over the world, backstage, on stage.
That's true. I actually played an 808 one time. Anyway,
Is that right?
Yeah, for him, Islam didn't show up. So I
Where
had to-
was that?
At some, I don't know, some.
Here.
Yeah, it was years ago. It was like
Uh-huh.
maybe friggin' 30 years ago. Yeah, but that was fun. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, so what's what has been your, if you had to pick a favorite live show that you've seen, what would it be?
Of anybody's or my ex's?
Anybody's.
Ooh. Probably Prince. Because I never thought, as a teenager, when I was hearing his music, that I'd even ever get to even go to a concert, let alone run into him and see him in the offices of Warner Brothers. So yeah, that was interesting. Walking right by him, like
I bet.
And then of course my ex, that would come into. It's right up there with number one because to see the first huge tour, the Dope Jam, of course, and him get on stage and see that many people singing along with the lyrics. It was incredible.
Where was the show?
I think that one that I recall was in Texas. And I remember saying, these people aren't going to know. This is, how's this going to go? Of course you see that you've got records, sales and stuff like that. But you're on this tour now. So you're like, oh, but we're touring outside of LA.
Who was on
He was
tour?
West Coast. Oh, God. That was the mega tour, which I speak about in the book. It was Ice-T, he opened up, Public Enemy, Dougie Fresh, Slick Rick, Eric B. and Rakim, Biz Markie, who shared a bus with us. That's all. It's stories. It's amazing. That's what I'm saying. See, I can't. Man, I've done it. I've done some incredible things, man. I'm good. But yeah, that was I would have to say so. Yeah, my exes, and then of course seeing Prince.
And where did you
like
see
that.
Prince?
Just everywhere. Of course, look, when we signed to Warner Brothers, he was an artist.
Yeah.
On Warner Brothers, so we were like, we had access to see him everywhere. I can't recall the first one. There's been so many. See how fortunate it is? I mean, I'm not bragging or anything, but man, that is amazing. Yeah, to just not even know, like not even have a count of how many times I've seen him. As a matter of fact, even recently, when I caught him at the Forum when he gave those $25 ticket performances for like 2 weeks long.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just amazing. But I love him anyway as an artist that it was like blew my mind. I wish I would have seen Michael Jackson more. I think the only time I've caught Michael Jackson was at award shows, performances. But other than that, I don't think I ever went to a Michael Jackson concert, which is unfortunate. But so I'd have to say Prince. Blew my mind.
Yeah, mine too.
Right?
He's
See?
amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, did you guys like that interview? Man, I loved talking to Darlene. Fellas, she's single and she is looking as fine as ever. If you want to holler at Darlene, she's not on Tinder. She's not on eHarmony, none of that stuff. You got to get at her face to face. But I'll tell you what, hit us up on Twitter at Rebel Radio Net. You can make your pitch to me and let's see, maybe I'll connect you with Darlene.